How's it going, guys? This is going to be your Deadmine guide for those without talents, and we're going to do a little look at what happens when you do have talents, because it is a completely different world, and when you do start getting talents, I'll recommend ones that will really help you for this, and the good news is it's ones that you should probably be looking at using for the Heroic campaign. Anyway, alright, so we got Deadmines. We are having to use our Blackrock family for this one, and just right out the gate, I'd like to let you guys know Deadmines is an incredibly difficult dungeon because of stage 1 with Blackrock. I think there's a lot of things that are going to counter you in the Mr. Smite stage. So we are facing a level 11 dungeon. We have a level 11.6 average army, and this is what we're using. This is pre-recorded footage, by the way. So we have Rend, Whelplings, Dark Iron Miner, Harpies, Quillbort, Blizzard, and Safety Pilot. No talents on any of these characters. I do want to let you guys know, though, that as this second account climbs up, because I am using it for the Heroic campaign, I'm going to have to start equipping talents, because it doesn't matter if, all else even, we're level 16 doing a level 16 dungeon. The way levels scale, you're going to need to start using some talents. I'll try to keep doing it talentless, but we'll see how it goes. So yeah, I do have a talent on Safety Pilot, but I have it turned off. So nothing fishy going on here. I will let you guys know, though, Safety Pilot level 14, Blizzard level 13, Whelplings level 13, inflating that level a little bit, and I guess you would say the other characters are deflating it, right? And this is kind of what your army hopefully looks like. Hopefully you got a lot of your unbound units leveled up, because they're kind of a cheat code to a lot of things here. So let's get into it. Let's look at that first relic choice that we get. All right, so we get to get an additional level on our leader every time we play him. I don't know what's going on with this. All right, we get an additional level on our leader every time we deploy him. We're going to use Rend a couple times, but pretty sparingly. On death, minis explode, damaging nearby enemies. It's minimal damage, but at least it's something. And deploying your leader applies vulnerability to all enemies for 10 seconds. I really don't like Aegis of Scales, because I feel like if I have a meaningful offense attack going on right now, I probably don't have 6 gold to spare to drop a Rend, unless I'm super ahead, which it really only happens maybe on stage 2. Not gonna happen on stage 1 or 3, and since stage 1 is kind of the gate, I don't really see the benefit of it. Alright, so we're gonna go in on Mr. Smite, and let's talk about the difficulties in this stage, because it is definitely the most difficult stage. 4 avenues of which they attack us: the left, center, right, and the right side. In the center left there on that pipe, there's going to be a stealth Tauren charger that's going to work its way down. That's a big threat to your base, and one thing you're going to see me do quite often is I'm going to drop whelp eggs right there to greet the stealth Tauren. If you don't do that, you're going to need to sacrifice a unit to pull her out of stealth, and then kill it with your harpies, your safe pilot, whatever you're trying to do. Obviously, I wouldn't suggest safe pilot against Tauren. That's going to be a fat L. Besides that, we're going to have to deal with a bunch of kobolds trying to get this gold on the center right side. This is the problem, because it often seems like this map is just flooding you with too many enemies. The reason for that is because there's 8 enemies. All the stealth units and that Tauren stealth unit that comes in, those enemies don't count towards the gold of the boss, but they do respawn. So it often feels like in dealing with the 2 walls of enemies, the Tauren charger and those bandits in the middle, it often feels like you're being overwhelmed, and you are, which is why this stage is as difficult as it is. But you're also going to have to look out for wolves that are summoned in with the gold, mountaineers that are summoned with the gold, and if you let the enemy kobold get too much additional gold, you will be quickly overrun. Luckily, this is the first stage, so it's not like you've done a bunch of stages to climb here, and then you get absolutely destroyed. So, what is our general strategy? Well, our general strategy is we're going to go where the enemy takes us. We're going to stall out, we're going to answer all the threats, and then we're going to be attacking the boss in the final minute. This is the best strategy I've found for this like level 11 talentless dungeon. It's very difficult, and a lot of combos we're going to use. We're going to use safe pilot to take out range units, and then we're going to quickly drop harpies on the ground units, or a Rend, or a Blizzard, or whatever the case may be. But first, we got to take care of those range units. All right, so you see, we do have that Tauren charger. I do have eggs ready to go, so I'm just waiting for that 2 gold. And then we'll drop it there. And we actually have a nice little assault coming in on the boss. We're going to get a little bit of damage in there, which is nice. And you see I throw a kobold down. Now, I think I failed to flip the switch here, so that kobold is completely wasted. Yeah, I'm too preoccupied up at the top. And yeah, I dropped the safe pilot. I'm like, oh, I'll protect my kobold. No, that kobold is kind of being wasted. And then I fat finger some of the quillboard, icing on the cake. But at least our safe pilot did take care of the enemy kobolds, so that's going to stop them from getting gold. And now I got to answer this threat down here. And I will do so, I believe, with Mountaineer on the gold first, which is why I brought the Mountaineer. And we'll throw the Harpies there. And I drop the eggs on the Cannoneer. I don't agree with the eggs dropping on the Cannoneer there. That was probably a mistake. Probably should just let the Cannoneer die to the tower and drop the Whelpling eggs on that Tauren. But one egg survived at least, and that egg plus the Quillboar will hold that Tauren at bay. And now I actually have a Kobold of my own going to get that gold. So let me touch briefly on the reason we brought the Dark Iron Dwarf. The Dark Iron Dwarf is going to grab that Summoning Stone on the left side and the gold in that mine. Don't throw the Dark Iron Dwarf at that mine unless that mine has 2 or 3 ores in it, right? We don't want to waste our attacks. So you see, I threw in my Whelpling eggs to kind of try and save the Kobold. It didn't work. I ended up doing a lot of damage to the Wolf, which is nice, but those ranged units then ripped my Whelplings apart because they don't have the Flame Burst talent. This is where not having talents absolutely hurts you a lot. All right, so again, first trick, drop Safety Pilot, take out the ranged units. Second trick, Harpies, take out the grounded units. So again, I don't have my eggs ready, but I do eventually get them out. And there we go. So we've taken a little bit of damage on our tower. The enemy has taken a similar amount. I did have a lot of misplays there, but the general strategy is holding, right? We're taking care of the range units, and then we're hitting it with Harpies afterwards. And then you can see, like, when we try and attack from the left or the right side, those Darkspear Trolls are an absolute nightmare. I'll try and sneak in some gold with my Dark Iron Dwarf. I throw the Blizzard because I just don't want him to get destroyed on the way. And we have a pesky wolf just ripping our base apart. So we're going to go with the Harpies. It's going to take out the bear, but we see that the Tauren went back into stealth. So as soon as the bear dies, I play the Kobold. It pulls her out of stealth. So that's what I meant when you got to sacrifice a unit to try and get her out of stealth if she sneaks by you. We use a Safety Pilot to get rid of that Dark Spear Troll. And now we see we have 8 seconds left. Boss is still at 75% life. You might think like, oh, I'm screwed. I've not done enough damage. I haven't really put in any offense yet. But this is actually good because with our low cost deck, we're about to throw in a bunch of assaults. Now we have that Summoning Stone on the left side, so that's where we're starting our assault. We got to get rid of that stealth Darkspear Troll whenever we get the chance. Tauren's taking himself out. And what I found is once you start putting pressure on the boss's summoned units will overload on that side. So you see, we got the Quillboar. We're getting a bunch of damage in there. That Tauren Troll, unfortunately, comes in. We dropped the Blizzard. We saw an enemy summon in there, but the Safety Pilot kind of cleaved it down. We got 30 seconds left, and you can see we're spam summoning at this point with that double gold. Quillboar to turn the boss back around, and there we go. So we stalled out. We controlled the gold sources. We dropped our Whelplings to take care of the Tauren Chargers. We dropped our Safety Pilot to take care of the ranged, and then our Whelplings to take care of the ground units. All right, moving on over to the next stage. It's a lot easier. Stages 2 and Stages 3 are much easier. Let's see what relics we get here. All right, so we got the relics. I saw red, I saw purple, I saw white. All right, so we get ranged minis apply burn. That's not bad. Our Safety Pilot's pretty good. Elementals deal double damage but gain vulnerability. That's probably what we're going to go with. And flying minis evade the first attack. Yeah, I definitely go with the Elementals, right? Because we have Safety Pilot, Whelplings, and Blizzard. Perfect. And I guess we have Ren too. Yes, we gain vulnerability. I don't really care because everything in the next 2 stages comes in burst damage waves. So as long as we're getting a little bit of damage in, we're set. All right, let's get rid of this loading screen. There we go. So this stage is going to have 3 lanes in it. We're going to go for the middle lane. That's what we want to control because when the enemies hug either wall that's attached to that mid lane, the tower's going to shoot at it. So we don't want to go on the left side. Also, we want that gold mine in the middle, right? Next thing we're going to do is whenever we see this army, the same thing as stage 1. We're going to drop either a Safe Pilot or a Blizzard to take care of those range units, and then we're going to drop Whelplings to take care of the ground units or Harpies if the enemies aren't on a tower or something like that, right? While we're doing that, we're controlling the 2 gold chests at the bottom and the gold mine on the bottom right. That's going to be our primary sources of gold, which is going to let us spam and stay ahead of the, I believe it's 8-man armies that the boss keeps summoning in. And all the while, we're going to be hit with Huntress. As soon as we get into like an attacking formation on the boss, you'll see like a Huntress is going to spawn out of nowhere. Griffin Raider, spells, all that kind of stuff is going to help hurt us in the end. So we get the first chest, the Safety Pilot. We hit that switch, so we get the other chest as well. we summoned our kobold. Let me rewind just for a second so I can show you. I summoned the kobold in the bottom right of that blue square, because if you summon it at the top, the kobold will walk right by the gold mine. All right, we're going to try and get that tower, but in the meantime, I'm going to drop a blizzard on top of that group. You see, we got chain lightning down ourselves, which is unfortunate. I'm going to drop a safety pilot right here. That was ill-advised. I should have let it get a lot lower. It's not like we were running out of gold space or anything. Then we drop our whelpling eggs. The wolf is going to pop them for us. Then the wolf is going to get dropped. We take a little bit of damage on our tower, but nothing crazy. And now I'll try and finish off the tower, turning it around with the Quillboar, only to get a Huntress summoned in our face. So now I'm like, all right, chill, relax, let the gold build up. We're not getting anywhere. We gotta relinquish that gold chest. We gotta wait till these ranged units get on our tower. Don't summon a Rend in front of a Huntress and some Murloc Hunters. That Rend will immediately die, right? So we lost our gold chest, and now I'm like, come on, we got another ranged unit coming to peel us down. But fortunately, the Harpies take the brunt of the damage, and then Rend breathes them down. I see I have another one of those armies that I didn't get to normally when I have talents turned on. So I got to answer that with a blizzard. And now we finally have that middle tower, and that's great. So we can start harvesting that gold, and we can start setting up for our attack. It's only taken us a minute to get to this part, so not bad. Our Rend gets taken down. We're going to go ahead and make sure we deal with this Huntress. And you see our Kobold's getting gold. So very important note, don't summon your Kobold on the wall either, because the enemy's tower will hit you. The same way your tower hits it, enemy's tower will hit you. We got to deal with this army, so I'm going to drop a blizzard on it, taking care of those squishy units and doing a bunch of damage to the melee units as well. I want to try and get these chests before there is a problem, so I go ahead and grab those. I'll throw a Quillboar to stop this Kobold from getting gold, and then I'll probably throw a Kobold of my own to go get it. Yeah, there we go. We're going to throw our own Kobold to go get it. And now, here's a cool thing to do. Throw your Whelplings, but don't throw them above this sign here. Throw them below it, so that when the enemy pops your Whelplings will take out those enemies, but then the Whelplings will go to the middle track. So you're not just losing those units. Alright, so our Kobold did get us a nice 3-piece gold. And we got another army to deal with. That's okay. We have a lot of gold, so we're actually getting to do a lot of Rend summons here. I guess that first relic would have been nice, but it wouldn't have helped us on the first stage, so who cares? Chain Lightning absolutely ruins our big army we had going on. God, I hate Chain Lightning. We'll blizzard this enemy down. Cookie has taken about, I don't know, 40% of his life so far. Keep getting those gold chests. Don't ignore gold, okay? Don't start sending in one unit at a time to get these little hits in on the boss. Get a bunch of gold. Get a big army going. Doesn't matter that Chain Lightning keeps happening. As long as we're in control, we'll make it to that final minute. We'll get that much more gold, and we will be able to dive bomb the boss, either with a big army that's going to come in both left and right side, or with unbound units. So I try and turn the boss around using my Whelps, and then a Huntress gets summoned in, perfectly timed, but the Whelplings get a bunch of damage in. Our safety pilot did some good work, and now I'm going to try and cleave the boss and as many range units as I can. I get a little bit desperate here, I suppose, kind of unnecessarily. We did not get one of the Darkspear Trolls, but we got Cookie basically dead. We're going to summon in a couple unbound units, and we're going to finish this one off. Even the Dark Iron Miner is going to get in on it. Alright, let's see what relics we get on stage 3. So stage 3, we get some nice ones. Oops, let's actually read them. So we get each gold you mine partially heals a mini. That's okay, I guess, for this one, because there is a gold mine right in the front. I wouldn't go for it, though. Then we have our tank minis cost 1 less. I love that one. I probably should have chose that one, but I think I go for this one. Leader summons in 2 whelps, but I don't summon the leader very often, especially on this last stage, and we'll talk about why. So let's go ahead and skip that load screen, and here we go. So we got the left side, we have the center left, we have an elevator, and then we have the right side. We also have to deal with this analyzer, which is kind of the big mechanic of this boss, and we'll talk about that in a second. So our plan, actually let's talk about the analyzer right now. So whenever a unit steps on the analyzer, it's going to delete that unit, whether it's your unit, the enemy unit, doesn't matter. It's going to delete that unit, it's going to print out 5 copies of them, and it's going to spit them out on the elevator directly beside the center analyzer. You can use this to your advantage. You could use this to, well, you can't use it to your disadvantage. If a big unit hits that analyzer, it could cause trouble, especially if it's like an ogre mage or the Blackrock big tank guy, Or if you put in like your leader, like if you had your general step on that, that's really bad. I'm not sure if flying units can get hit by it. I think they can, so I'm always precautious about it. I've never taken the time to test it. Let me know in the comment section below. But what will happen is it's going to spit out 5 units down that elevator. You could kind of set a trap for them. So say there is a ogre mage coming down, and I don't want to have to deal with that ogre mage on my base. I could let it get copied, and then I could have a blizzard, a safety pilot ready, dump that on all 5 as they spit at the same time, and take them out. It's also going to kind of stall out and let your gold build up a bit while it is copying them. But best thing to do, and you're going to see me do it here, is to try and like snipe in the analyzer, because it'll put it on cooldown, and then it'll take a little bit. So what is my actual plan here? We're going to assault the left side. We're going to get chest priority. We're going to get tower priority. And then we're going to start working our way onto the right side or attack right up the middle. Depending on where the enemy is sending units, I might have to answer straight up the middle. But for the most part, I get to get that right side tower. I get to get that right side gold mine. And I'm normally attacking from the right side because it's a lot closer to reach Sneed. And it's easier to manipulate that analyzer. So on the right side, I can throw in my harpies, whatever the case may be, and throw a kobold at the front. And the kobold will reach that analyzer first. And that's normally what happens. I don't think that's what happens here, though. Maybe that's what normally happens when you have talents on. So we lost that chest to the Tauren Charger. It happened super fast. We didn't really have any good unit to start us off here to deal with that. So we kind of go even on the trade. I did see that the gold mine directly in front had 2 pieces, so I go grab that. And then we have another Tauren Charger to deal with. Tauren Charger is probably the worst one to get hit on the analyzer. So we take care of that Charger. We see that there's 2 coming. The kobold hit the analyzer, which will put it on cooldown for now. And we start working back on that tower. Alright, so there is an enemy safety pilot up on the bridge, and she did take out most of our range units. The gargoyle was able to walk past the analyzer, but the ogre mage, in doing his bloodlust, actually didn't. And this is kind of the worst case scenario. So we have one big unit that made it past the analyzer, and then a very scary unit that didn't. Now, we did have Blizzard, we did have Safety Pilot ready for the mage, so we were able to take that out. We dropped the Whelp eggs on top of the golem here, and so we've kind of reset, right? Now, we did take some damage. There's a kobold beating on our base, which is kind of funny. But we have the tower now, we have chest priority, and now we can start kind of sliding in on the analyzer and stopping the enemy from getting good use out of it. You see, I throw a miner on the analyzer. I don't know if it would summon a harpy, but I didn't want it to steal a harpy. We take out those range units, and because we go right at the middle, we're going to get some good damage on the boss. And of course, turn the boss around, right? That's what we got the cool bar for. Alright, so we get some good damage in on the boss. Actually, I missed what happened. Our entire unit died there. I assume it was a chain lightning. What was that? Oh, it was the enemy safety pilot. Fair enough. Alright, so we have the Dark Iron Miners hitting our base. Luckily, they don't hit very hard, so we'll drop a Blizzard to take care of that threat. And we've got about 60% of the health off the boss. Harpies on top of that Tauren Charger. Now, I do want to get that 3 golden mine, but do not summon a kobold when there is a Charger alive. The Charger will get off the tower and kill your kobold. Same with any kind of damaged range unit. So again, I summon the miner to kind of eat up the charges. I'll turn the boss around, drop a safety pilot, and we're actually doing a nice little frontal assault. Not my normal strategy. Normally I'll either dive bomb the boss or hit it from the right, but this is working out great. Obviously different ways to get through this. Alright, so I'm going to answer by getting more gold. We now have hit the boss a little bit more, dropping him to about 35% life by the looks of it. Harpies will take these guys out. And now I see I don't like this, so I want to get my my miner on there, but unfortunately the Tauren charges. I should have put the miner a little bit later. Tauren charges in. This is kind of worst case scenario. So we'll drop as much damage as we can here, but we're going to be relying on this Blizzard to kind of bail us out of this mistake. And the Blizzard is great. It takes out the Ogre Mage, it takes out a bunch of the Chargers. One Charger's not going to solo the tower alone, and the Bandits, nobody cares about Bandits, right? So there we go. We're going to drop that Tauren. We're going to drop some Harpies to take care of this one. And now I think I'm actually going to go for this right side tower now that I have Harpies ready to go. We turn the Ogre Mage around, otherwise our Harpies would be dead. And we'll start working on the tower. Safety Pilot did a huge amount of damage. Love to see it. And as soon as that tower goes down, I'll summon my miner on it because there's 3 juicy little gold nuggets there. And there you go. So now We've entered overtime, times 2 gold. We have a couple things we can do. We can just wait until we have 10 gold, let the enemy do a bunch of its summons. As soon as they get away from the boss, we can summon in our trifecta of death, or we can try and play it normally like we have been and just overwhelm the boss. We're going to go for the trifecta of death. So I drop the whelps, I drop the safety pilot, I'll turn the boss around with Quillbore, drop a blizzard on the boss, and that's it. That's all she wrote. I could have done this sooner, but I wanted to show you how to maintain the strategy if you are pushing a higher difficulty, okay? But that trifecta, that's why I love that trifecta. It's crazy. And throwing in blizzard on top of it is nutty as well. So, you know what I didn't talk about last time? I didn't talk about the army upgrades I like to build into. These are the army upgrades that I currently have on my Blackrock on the baby account. I have something very similar on the main account. So the top 3, you don't get to choose that, but the bottom 3. So for flying, because it's rend, I like to put the harpies there, or maybe a drake there. For unbound, that's my Quillbore. Elemental is a great one. So elemental could be your whelplings if you have 2 other Blackrock characters you probably don't care enough about. It could be your blizzard. It could be your safety pilot, which is great because you might want to bring in a huntress on some heroic levels. Which you throw the huntress into the range slot, safety pilot can go in the elemental slot. So this is kind of the layout that I really like to play around with. I find it to be really powerful, and just in case you wanted to see that. All right, now I want to quickly show you what it's like when we have talents. So this is a level 22 dungeon. This is on my army's level 23, so this is my main account. And I just want you to see the difference that talents make in this first stage. We won't do the rest because that's just a waste of time. I want you to see the difference that is made when you have talents. The things you can get away with, the amount of damage, the mechanics that you can circumvent by having certain talents that I've recommended in the past and I'll keep recommending. So let's get in here. Let's start this stage off. Let's start from the very beginning. Here we go. So I'm able to drop the whelpling eggs right away because I don't need to do a safety pilot to take care of that cannoneer now because of Flame Burst. That talent immediately takes them out. We're going to send them all up this right side. I have Worgen now instead, and I have the Pyromancer instead of probably... I don't know instead of what, actually. But anyway, we throw them all in, we hit the boss, and you see the boss is just getting ripped apart. We got Venomize or whatever it is on the Harpies, so they have poison. We have coming in hot on our safety pilot. It's been growing on me a lot. And you can see the boss is just taking insane amounts of damage. And it's a different game. We're doing like a slight punch down. Now, I do have extra levels on my whelplings and on my safety pilot because I'm trying to get them raid ready. But you can see talents are playing a huge part mechanically. I said we weren't going to do this, but I'll just show you how this ends. Whoops. It ended very quickly there. So we got the Quillbore, we got our Worgen, we got the Harpies, and you can see from like, was it 60 or 70% life to dead. It only took us some minutes to get through that one. And then Sneed, I think, is even more brutal. Sneed, I think, he's at full life. We're a minute in. I drop the eggs, I drop the Worgen, I drop the safety pilot, I drop the Quillbore, turn the boss around, and that's over. That's the difference with talents make. So much damage. It's a different game with talents. And we did not have very interesting relics here either. Actually, it looks like they beat us back. Okay, but now we'll drop single whelp eggs. I guess we'll drop a pilot too. And bam, it's over. Right? And I guess I can show you what my deck looks like now. Though I think I've changed it because I'm working on a particular thing. Yeah, so I got Cycle on there right now. So what I currently have equipped is I have Harpies in the Flying. Whelplings, Pyromancer. Flying was Harpies. Unbound Quillbore. Cycle Quillbore. Unbound Safety Pilot. And I have Huntress on the range because I'm working on the Devil Sword level. Anyway, that's the difference that it makes. So if you want my final advice to kind of, not beginner players, but mid-game players pushing this dungeon, is don't kill yourself. Right now, there's still 4 days left in the dungeon. Chill a bit, all right? Chill, level up whatever characters you're using with your Rend army, and then do some punch downs in the dungeon. Make it easier for yourself. Get it to a punch across. Maybe struggle through the punch across, but don't worry about doing punch ups. That first stage is so brutal. And in 5 weeks from now, when the dungeon is back, and it's not gonna be Deadmines, so it's gonna be an easier dungeon. But in 5 weeks, when it's Rend is back, Blackrock is back, you're gonna have talents at that point, and it's gonna be trivial. You'll be able to push so much further. So, though I like making these videos, the best advice is the game's a marathon, not a race. Enjoy it. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.